Hey patrons, it's me, Scoots. This is a quick video because I kind of share this in some of the office hours, but the question comes up, so I just wanted to put this video as a standalone video, so you probably linked to it or I sent it to you. This is a quick video to answer the questions very specifically. What is the bonus content and when does it come out? And hopefully there'll be titles and other videos I can link to, but this is an experiment. So you might even be seeing this for the first time without anything. So again, what do you get as a $5, $10, or $20 patron? Those are the current tiers we have. So I guess at some point this video would become irrelevant, or in the past we had other tiers. But anyway, currently we'll start on Sunday. On Sunday nights, a brand new episode comes out for $5, $10, and $20 patrons. Now, if you're new or you're thinking about becoming a patron, that episode is ad-free, but it is a full episode. And sometimes I see misinformation about this. It's a full episode, so it starts with Friends Beyond the Binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It has a special patron message, though, that the public doesn't hear. Then the intro music starts and the intro begins. So there's no jingles or credits or any of the sponsor spots. It goes right into the intro. It goes from the intro right into the episode, and then it ends. So there's no thank yous at the end of the episode, and then there's no sponsor spots. That's Sunday night. Usually those episodes will come out about a week early before the public sees them. It kind of depends. Sometimes they won't be early episodes, just if we're behind on our production schedule. Sometimes they'll come out for patrons even earlier or out of order because you're getting them early. Our production process is a little bit different for everything. So that's Sunday night. Monday night, $5, $10, and $20 patrons get a story-only episode, which means it's for old listeners, but from back in the day, it's the same as Sleep to Strange used to be, which means that on Mondays, you get an episode that is just the story portion of an episode. So it doesn't have an intro, it doesn't have music, and it doesn't, depending on how old it is, it doesn't have any thank yous at the end. It's just the story portion of the episode. Maybe I put that up somewhere. And then on Tuesday, it's the same thing, and those episodes are about 2 months old normally. It'll be a story-only episode. So people that like to listen all night or don't want to hear any music or just like the stories and don't like the intros, just make a playlist. Every podcast app is different. I don't want to get into it in this video, but you can make a playlist of all intro episodes or all night episodes or both. Or people use different playlists in different ways. The best way to find out more about your specific podcast app and playlists is either your podcast app's website or YouTube and say, hey, how do I do this with this podcast app? Okay, so that's Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, it's the same as Sunday. A brand new episode comes out normally. Again, it's the same structure as our regular episodes. It just doesn't have any ads and it doesn't have any thank yous at the end. So it starts off Friends Behind the Binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and then has a little patron joke in there, and then the theme music begins and it goes straight into the episode. Not the credits music, just the instrumental theme music. And then there's a full intro just like the public will hear on the free show, and then there's a full episode. So that's Wednesday night. On Thursday night, and that goes out to $5, $10, and $20 patrons. On Thursday night is for $10 and $20 patrons, and it's a little bit different depending on the week. But so twice a month, $10 and $20 patrons on Thursday night get an all intro episode. Once a month, on Thursday nights, $10 and $20 patrons get a all-night episode, which is now, because of the limitations of the feed size and stuff, it's about a 4 or 5 hour episode. If I make it longer, I have to degrade the audio to a point. It's just a balance, so it's usually like a 4 or 5 hour episode of a compilation of stuff. That's some Thursdays. And then currently, on one Thursday a month, you'll also get a Great British Bake Off bonus show until we get to the end of those. And those are about currently an hour episode. So that's Thursday night for $10 and $20 patrons. All intro episodes. Those aren't the same as those are like older all intro episodes. and then, all intro episodes, a bonus show, or an all-night show. Then on Fridays Fridays, we don't have any episodes that come out. Saturdays, twice a month for all patrons, is a Super Deluxe show. And the Super Deluxe show comes out around noon my time on Saturdays because it's for fun, or for a nap, or for the super fans that love the Super Deluxe episodes. Now, they're not for everybody, and there's something that I really like, but again, everybody's taste is different, and that's why it comes out on a Saturday for fun to all patrons. It has sound design, it'll have music, it'll have sound effects. My voice will probably be altered. So it's not a new, sometimes it's an early release of an episode that hasn't come out yet, but it's an episode you could listen to the original at some point. So it's not about hearing it. Sometimes I see people like, I can't hear the episode. And it's like, well, you could listen to the original episode. This is to showcase just some different stuff. Some people really like ambient audio and sound effects and experimentation, and that's what I really like, is to showcase Chris Posterson's skills at all of those things. And it's fun for me, and it's fun to pay someone to be able to experiment and have fun and go do whatever they want. So that's on Saturdays, and it can always be skipped. Any of the Patreon things can be skipped, and as long as you're using a podcast app, you just have to take a little time to kind of look up which podcast app you're using and do some research. Podcast apps, that's why I make a podcast versus like a web show or something, is a podcast app is a very adaptable thing. You can make playlists. You can set it to play all night. You can set a sleep timer to shut down after 20 or 15 minutes or 4 hours. You can search within more powerful podcast apps like Pocket Casts or Overcast or Castbox or Podcast Addict, and then you can say all night or story only, and then you can build your playlists from there. And that Patreon and I don't have the ability to offer support because there's so many different podcast apps, but there's so much information out there just on YouTube and the website for each podcast app. And every podcast app company has their own service. I mean, most of them are free, like the Pocket Casts, Overcast. I'm a patron of Overcast, but that's an optional thing. Pocket Cast has a paid version, but their free version is very robust. And Castbox and Podcast Addict are free as well. So that's what you get as a patron. Those are the rewards. Now you may be asking, Scoots, do you know how to? I've never done this before, but I'm going to try. It's like, and if you're seeing this the week of New Year's, there won't be any videos I'm pointing to, but one day there will be. If you say, well, I never set up my bonus content, well, look right here. There's how to set up your bonus content. Hey, Scoots, what's this video over here? Oh, this is how to get a hold of Patreon support. And then this, maybe there'd be another video here with how to set it up on different podcast apps. So that's the rewards you get as a patron, and I really appreciate the support. I just want to keep clarifying that. And if you see people asking questions or spreading the incorrect information on Facebook or stuff, just say, hey, just share them this link, and I'll keep this link public. This is what you get as a patron. At $5, you get a lot. 2 brand new ad-free episodes and 2 story-only episodes. And then at $10 and $20, you get a little bit more. You get a bonus show that's just unique for those levels, or 2 all-intro episodes, or an extra long episode. Also, $10 and $20 patrons as a beta have access to all the way back to episode 2. $5 and up patrons, you have access to episode all the way back to episode 400. That's always been the case, actually, is around episode 400 is when Patreon started the feed, and so patrons have had access back to 400 because that's when Patreon started offering a podcast feed. And last year, Patreon and I invested a lot. I mean, I know I live on my end, but Patreon also created the infrastructure, and then we took the time, and it was a lot to add in those episodes from episode 2 to episode 400 for $10 and $20 patrons. And they're not remastered, they're not remixed, they're very rough. Some of them have a lot of adult material or like rated PG-13 or R, but those are all available to access as well. So yeah, and if you have any questions, just go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron help. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron feed is how you access your patron feed. And if you need support, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron support. Thanks, everybody.